up there. I welcome you. I welcome all the honorable members and of the legislature and the guests that are invited by the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development. Vote 3. I just hope that we do have the quorum table staff. Okay. We'll now proceed and deal with the debate on vote 3. Honorable members, I further wish to confirm that the budget report 2022-2023 of the Agriculture and Rural Development Portfolio Committee has been tabled in terms of the visual roles. So now I just want to proceed with the debate. The MEC who will be doing the report for agriculture and rural development on agriculture and rural development budget, Honorable B.N. Sithole has got 45 minutes. Over to you. If we can just keep time, honorable members.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Swatpoint Ombela. Angibingelele kusomlomo wendlu umhlonishwa uBoyce, usekela somlomo wendlu umhlonishwa uMthembu, undunankulu wesifundazwe sakithi KwaZulu-Natal, umhlonishwa uS Zikalala, amalunga onke Executive Council yaKwaZulu-Natal. Ngibingelele kubahlonishwa bonke amalunga ahloniphekile alendlu yesishamthetho kwisifundazwe sakithi KwaZulu-Natal, kuleke ebukhosini bakithi indlu nkulu kaZulu, amakhosi onke asendlunkulu eholwa inkosi uChiliza ongusihlalo wendlu, abezelizwi, abefundisi abakhona benkolo ngokwahlukana kwazo, ama-stakeholders ethu, ama-officials ethu akhona e-department kakhulukazi kuyona engizoma ngayo la, ngizothula uhlahlo lwabiwomali lwayo yakwa-agriculture iholwa umnumzane uSibande oyinhloko yomnyango ehamba no-CFO, nabo bonke abakhona abavela emnyangweni wezolimo nokuthuthukiswa komphakathi wasemakhaya, amakhansela, izmeya, osomlomo, ama-stakeholders wonke ethu. Ngiyathanda ukubalula ukuba khona kwama-veterans ethu African National Congress phakathi kwethu, siyabonga nabo bonke ama-stakeholders ethu akhona, abahlali nabakheli balendawo yakithi nesifundazwe sakithi KwaZulu-Natal. Ngiyathanda ukubabingelela ilabo abasicoshela izindaba. Ngibingelele bonke abakhona abathamele lenkulumo ekhuluma ngohlahlo lwabiwomali lomnyango wezolimo kanye nokuthuthukiswa komphakathi wasemakhaya. Labo abakhona ubuqu babo nalabo futhi abathamele ezinkundleni lezi zokuxhumana, njengoba ke lolu hlelo lanamhlanje lubizwa ngokuthi i-hybrid. Honorable Speaker, we are grateful for this opportunity once again to deliver an annual budget speech as KwaZulu-Natal Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, despite the challenges that engulf our beautiful province recently. Honorable Speaker, as we stand here, our hearts are heavy following the recent devastating floods that destroy houses, infrastructure, crops, livestock, and more importantly, that many lives have lost of our people of this province. We extend our sincere condolences to the families that lost their loved one, and also pray that those who are still missing are found and are brought back to their families so that they put their bones in the resting peace. Several homes, including farm dwellers' houses and individual farmers, were damaged. Critically, infrastructure, including roads, communication, agricultural infrastructure, machinery and equipment, various crops such as cane, sugar cane, grains, fruits and vegetables, and livestock, including large and small, and companion animals were also impacted by the flooding. As a caring government, immediately we received news of the floods that wreak havoc in our communities. The Honorable Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Honorable Sihle Zikalala, dispatched the executive team and the civil servants throughout the affected areas. As I was deployed in Tuzuma and Umzinyathi, north of Durban, it was disheartening to see displaced families looking over their washed away houses. They could no longer go to those houses. In some areas, it was painful to see a family member pointing that what was used to be their homestead and is no longer there. Ngiyathanda-ke ukuba ngisho ukuthi-ke nathi njengomnyango wezolimo siholwa umphathiswa wethu wakazwelonke umama uDidiza, saphinde sahambela ezinye zama-farmers athintekile lapha endaweni yaseNtshongweni, endaweni yaseCliffdale, oThongathi kanye naseNdwedwe. Siyozibonela ngokwethu isimo esisibonile asenzi ukuba ulale ebusuku ngenxa yokubona ukuhlukumezeka kwabantu nokuhlukumezeka kwezingqalasizinda nomsebenzi wonke othintekile, abanye bagcina bengesenalutho. Entshongweni nje sibe khona umuntu wesifazane osemusha okuyena okhiqizayo laphaya osebenza ngey'nkukhu. Safika zonke iziluku zakhe zihambile, sikubiza kanjalo-ke thina amahhoko lawa sithi iy'luku ngesiZulu, ngenzela ukuthi abangazi ulimi langapha-ke ngakithi kusisho njalo. Ulahlekelwe okuningi, ubenza iy'nkukhu ezilako 5,000 ngesiluku, esinye siphele nya. Kusho ukuthi-ke lezo y'nkukhu ebezilapho zonke zihambe nemvula zazayongena emfuleni. Kubuhlungu kakhulu ukubona abantu abasha bethanda ukubamba iqhaza bese kufika lezi khahlamezi zemvula zenze konke lelo themba nethuba bese litholile libuyele emuva noma lishabalala. Malunga hloniphekile lendlu siqoqile-ke umbiko nathi njengomnyango wezolimo nokuthuthukiswa kwey'ndawo zasemakhaya ukuba sibone ukuthi ungakanani lo monakalo. Siyafisa ukusho phambi kwalendlu ukuthi uma siwubheka umonakalo owenzekile, uma sithatha ngokwey'tshalo, ama-hectare affectekile awu-5,798 and 89, my correction on that. And we also sibe ney'nkukhu nezingulube kanye ney'nkomo kanye nezimvu ezifile ezilako 30,000 ngokwe-information esesiyiqoqile sibambisene nabalimi. Ama-farmers athintekile awu-56. Kanjalo abasebenzi abathintekile abasebenza kuma-farms bawu-589. Ayikho into ebuhlungu njengokufika uthi uyobheka ufarm worker afika athi ukuba uyazi ukuthi nami anginayo indawo yokulala, konke benginakho kumukile lapho ngihlala khona. Ubone ukuthi Nkosi yami, kuyadinga ukuthi nabo sibabheke njengomnyango siyakwenza lokho ukuba siqinisekise ukuthi mase senza lolu hlelo lokuvakashela ama-farm nabo abasebenzi basemafamu nabahlali basemafamu sibanikezele ingqalelo. Abanye bahanjelwe izindlu, abanye bahanjelwe kwayikona lokho okuncane abakuzamayo ukuziphilisa okuyama izivande zabo kanye nempahla yabo ihambile. Export and import of produce was affected due to the Durban Harbour, which was temporarily closed, including the Durban Fresh Produce Market, affecting shipment and loss of perishable stock. The damage to communication and road infrastructure compounded the situation as our ground officials were delayed to access other farming community. Honorable Speaker, in the midst of the horrible ordeal, we convened a special stakeholder meeting in Durban, where we discussed urgent intervention needed by the sector to guard against food insecurity. Thus far, we received data from various farmers' organizations throughout the province of KwaZulu-Natal. We also appreciate the input from our stakeholders, which has enabled us to have a clear picture of the situation on the ground. The impact of the loss of nutrient, pests, and diseases has resulted in the decline of produce quality and yield, including loss of income. The ripple effects of this disaster in the food system could be a rise in the food prices and the sector, as the sector is still reeling from the shock of the July unrest and December torrential rains. Honorable Speaker, we have indicated earlier that the National Minister was here and we have visited KwaZulu-Natal to see how devastated, and the steering committee was formed that is led by DDG Dlamini and DG of E department nationally, and the team has been doing the sterling job in compiling all the information and also assessing how much is going to cost us in dealing with this in short term, medium term, and long term. Honorable members, our budget speech is inspired by the positive attitude of our people, particularly in deep rural areas, who have shown interest in the agricultural sector. I have met with different people who have told me how enthusiastic they are about changing the tide in the agricultural sector. We deliver this speech whilst being mindful of the plight of our workers during the Workers' Month. We stand with the employees who are still today working on very appalling working conditions and who are still struggling for a better salaries. We express our gratitude to all workers of the world who continue to fight for better wages and improved conditions. We are in solidarity with the workers. In the department, I have witnessed dedication from our staff who have served with diligence from 10 years to 30 years. We are planning to honor them in a long service awards ceremony which are to be held soon. Honorable members, our theme for the financial year is the year of livestock. We have seen the potential of developing rural economy through livestock. Hence, the 2022-23 financial year has been deemed as the year of developing rural economy through livestock. Madam Speaker, it is imperative that we pause and reflect on what has been achieved from the commitment we have made to this House in the previous financial year 2021-22. Madam Speaker, it is imperative that we pause. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I am pleased to announce that the department's turnaround strategy is yielding positive results. Overall aim of the strategy was to improve the department's systems of internal controls and governance in order to make the institution more efficient and effective in fulfilling its mandate. The strategy has 4 critical focus areas: governance and AG audit improvement, service delivery improvement, strengthening institutional capacity. When we talk about improving the audit outcome, we are delighted to report to the improvement of the department, hence registered as on the AG audit outcome. Members will recall the history of this department come from when it was regularly qualified for internal controls deficiencies. For the second year in a row, we have been able to obtain a successive unqualified AG audit outcome in 2021 and also in 2020, 2021, and also in 2022 financial years. These outcomes confirm the success of the turnaround strategy that we are implementing since 2019. The department is working towards achieving a clean audit outcome. The department is pleased about the milestone obtained in its journey through the implementation of the turnaround programs. The image of the department and the service delivery record is improving as more farmers and other citizen groups experience improved service offerings. Recently, the department has won several awards from the Premier Service Excellence Awards. The department has awarded with gold on the category of Best Communication Team during the national lockdown and Best Public Service Innovator of the Year, which was won by Leslie from the Soil Science section. At the outbreak of coronavirus, the department utilized its laboratory to produce sanitizer and distributed those for use by other government departments and the farming community as part of its contribution to the COVID-19 response. Furthermore, agricultural sector was declared as an essential service. The department distributed relief fund for farmers to support continued food production, and the department's communication team ensure coherent messaging for farmers. It is thus humbling that these efforts are recognized by these awards. The department also has 2 winners on the silver category. Jeffrey Malevu from Amajuba District Office as the best frontline service delivery employee of the year, and Nonsikelelo Matabela from King Cetshwayo District on the best implemented project of the year. Additional, Sietemba Kunene from King Cetshwayo District received a certificate of commendation on the best implemented project of the year. On the category of the best general worker of the year, Busani Mtia from Ilembe District Office won a bronze. These awards build on what has become a proud tradition in the department, with several of its components and employees winning provincial and national recognition of service excellence. Department was able to improve its expenditure from 99.93% in 2021 to 99.96% of the budget in 21-22 financial year. The department's expenditure improved considerably, resulting in department's under expenditure decrease from 98.6 million in 2019-2020 to 17.1 million in 2021 and down to 1 million in 21-22. In 2018-2019, the under expenditure was 264.4 million, which shows there has been a massive expenditure improvement in the past 3 years. The improved expenditure management is a result of the tightening expenditure control, risk management, as well as reduced irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure. When we enhance human capacity, the department has ensured that critical executive posts that had acting incumbents were filled promptly. Some recent appointments include the appointment of Deputy Director General, Agricultural Development Services, Chief Director, Human Resource Management, Director Engineering, and District Director Umkhanyakude. Furthermore, 10 senior management positions have been advertised and will be filled in this financial year. On the bursary, internship and learnership, creating a pool of critical and scarce skills remaining an area of focus in the department's strategic agenda. In the year 2021 and 2022, the department has supported a total of 51 youth with full bursaries in the following field: veterinary service science, agribusiness, agronomy, animal and poultry, agricultural economics, agricultural engineering, agricultural management, plant pathology, animal science, biological science, and animal health, to mention a few. For 2022-2023, the department is awarding 9 bursaries in the hard-to-fill position within the scarce skills category. The department has appointed 142 graduates into the internship program running for 24 months until the end of 2022-23 financial year. 116 learners have been enrolled in the department's plant production and animal production learnership. In his State of the Nation address, His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa identified agriculture as having the potential to generate large-scale employment, particularly in the citrus, table and dried grape, subtropical fruit, avocado, berry and nuts industries, and said that the master plan for the sugar and poultry industries were already contributing to increased investment, improved production and transformation. Indeed, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of South Africa, has giving us marching orders, and we are ready to oblige. Honorable members, there is no doubt that agricultural production remains a key contributor to the South African economy and a means for the livelihood for the majority of our rural population. Sustained agricultural growth is critical for uplifting the living standard of all South Africans. The grain value chain. Indeed, honorable members, in order to sustain agricultural growth, the department is committed to implementing the sector commodity approach strategy. To demonstrate this commitment in the 2022-23 financial year, the department is planning to support 10,136 grain producers and will be assisting farmers to cultivate 28,320 hectares with food production compared to the 21,394 hectares cultivated in the previous financial year. In the 21-22 financial year, a cumulative total of 6,441 producers were supported in the grain commodity value chain against a target of 5,631. I'm certain that the members of this House will attest that there is growth in this department. In the medium term, the department will restructure support to grain producers in line with the Grain Silo Agri-Hubs program. On food security, honorable members, according the latest General Household Survey 2020 by Statistics SA, household and individual vulnerable to hunger increased slightly compared to the previous period to 10.8% and 11.6% respectively. Furthermore, 16.8% of KwaZulu-Natal households consider their access to food as inadequate. Although this represents a slight decrease from 17.5% in 2019, there was a notable increase in the number of households with inadequate food access reported in the period of 2020. Beyond supporting individual and community to grow own food for subsistence, the department has a suite of interventions aimed at smallholders and commercial producers. Last year, we made an undertaking to this House that the department will bring into operation the Makhathini nursery and build new mega nurseries at Dundee and Sedari research stations as government seed production initiative. I am pleased to announce that to this House that during the past season, the Makhathini nursery produced 70,000 seedlings for the farmers around Umkhanyakude district. A total of 30 graduates were employed to support seedling production. The structure designed for nursery at Dundee and Sedari have been completed, and the construction will start in the 2022-23 financial year. The primary objective of the agronomic seed and mega nurseries is to reduce the dependence on outsourcing for the supply of seeds and seedlings. Under the agronomic seeds program, in the previous financial year, the department managed to harvest 3.63 tons of maize and distributed to farmers who planted 145 hectares. The farmers will harvest at least an estimate of 580 tons of maize. Bean seed harvested for 7.7 tons and distributed to the farmers who planted 93 hectares of beans. The farmers will harvest at least 139.5 tons of beans. In the current planting season, 20 hectares of maize and 40 hectares of beans have planted for seed multiplication. Accordingly, 120 tons of maize seeds and 100 tons of beans seed will be harvested to support the cultivation of 4,800 hectares of maize and 1,332 hectares of beans in the current financial year planting season. In order to ensure successful implementation of the seed multiplication program, the department has created 108 job opportunities for the youth at Dundee, Kokstad, and Makhathini research stations. Furthermore, 8 candidate scientists will be employed to provide support in running the program. Last year, the department's Food Security Intervention Program successfully supported 21,315 households with food production initiative. To ensure stability in food security for these households, the department is planning to support a further 18,071 subsistence farmers and 3,958 smallholders producers in the 2022 to 23 financial year. The Extension Recovery Plan. Department continue to provide extensional technical information and support to small-scale farmers, communities, and emerging farmers. We have strengthened the Extension Recovery Program by employing 31 contract agricultural advisors for the period of 3 years. Under Land Care, the department has implemented the project amounting to 37 million rand in 21-22 financial year, creating over 970 EPWP jobs, opportunities, and rehabilitated 4,400 hectares of land. In the current financial year, the department will rehabilitate an additional 4,400 hectares of agricultural land, which is estimated to create over 880 EPWP job opportunities. Livestock value chain. Honorable Chair, in my previous budget speech, I declared 21-22 as the year of livestock. We are pleased to report that we have successfully implemented a total of 48 livestock value chain projects at a total of 10.3 million. We supported over 1,651 producers in the red meat commodity value chain with provision of feed, veterinary services, fence material, breeding stock, extensions, and advisory services and other forms of technical support. Department also conducted 13 rural livestock auction sales across the province, where more than 1,800 animals were sold, earning over 13 million in payment to farmers. 2022-23 financial year, the department is planning to support a total of 28 livestock value chain projects constituting of 13 beef commodity project, 9 piggery commodity project, 1 goat commodity project, and 5 poultry commodity project. A total of approximately 104 million has been set aside for the implementation of these projects. Livestock Association, honorable members, the Honorable Premier of KwaZulu-Natal has officially launched the revitalization of Livestock Association in our province. The department is currently implementing ward livestock committees in municipalities throughout the province to improve infrastructure, livestock services, and commodities. Department will be conducting local and district roadshow, engaging livestock farmers to take a lead in the management and maintenance of infrastructure constructed in their respective areas. These management will be used to also promote keeping of livestock for marketing purpose and ensuring thriving rural livestock industry. Commercialization of goat farming. Honorable members, as a department, we are concerned that out of 1.7 million goats that are sold in KwaZulu-Natal, only 600,000 comes from the province. In most occasions, we depend on neighboring countries like Namibia, Lesotho, and Mozambique with the supply of goats. To increase goat production in the province, we have set aside 3 million for remedies and protective clothing. 5 million was allocated in 21-22 to start the pilot project in the 5 districts, which is namely Umkhanyakude, Umzinyathi, Uthukela, King Cetshwayo, and Zululand. Honorable Chairperson, the primary objective of the goat program is to preserve the culture of goat farming and also to ensure that goat meat is available in the province. In the last financial year, we committed to implement a communal beef improvement program in order to improve the genetic potential of the communal beef herd through the introduction of artificial insemination and follow up bulls with superior genetics. The department commenced the implementation of this program at Umzimkhulu under Herikwala district. Animals were collected from different deep tanks within the district and were screened to ensure that they meet the program requirement. A total of 178 animals and 78 beneficiaries participated in the program. The selected beef heifers from the communal farmers were moved to the feedlot where they were flushed and synchronized to prepare for the artificial insemination. After the insemination, they were followed by bulls for natural mating. Animals are in the process of being returned back to the beneficiaries, and they have all been diagnosed pregnant, which is meat zonke 178 meat. Thank you. Honorable members, last year we made an undertaking to construct sharing sheds in Herikwala district in support of the promising communal driven wool industry in Umzimkhulu. Accordingly, 2 sheds have been completed and the other 4 are currently in construction. Department supported 13 wool growers association with shearing equipment in the 21-22 financial year. As a result of this support, Wool Growers Association are able to timeously share and supply wool to buyers. Over 345 smallholders, producers with over 24,281 stock of sheep stand to benefit from the department's wool improvement interventions, and this has a potential to generate 16.9 million in revenue for the rural communities. 2021 financial year, 58 agricultural infrastructure projects were established, while 9 agricultural infrastructure were rehabilitated. A total of 351 kilometers were fenced for agricultural purposes. In 2022-23 financial year, the department is planning to establish 45 agricultural infrastructure projects and rehabilitate 10 agricultural infrastructure projects, including constructing a total of 250 kilometers of fence for agricultural purposes. Honorable members, in 2021, the department invested more than 20 million in the surface draining for the Makhathini irrigation scheme. This current financial year, an additional of 6.5 million will be injected to the project. On the rehabilitation of 1 kilometer irrigation canal at Makhathini irrigation scheme, the department has spent more than 10 million in the previous financial year. We have engaged the Department of Water and Sanitation to intervene on the matter of the canal services as a bulk water supply. In the Makhathini irrigation, the ADA will continue to provide water services to Makhathini farmers through Umjindi irrigation scheme. As part of the improving water provision, there are other plans to undertake the following key projects. Continue with the rehabilitation of the irrigation canal, rehabilitation of pump sets at Makhathini irrigation scheme. In the rehabilitation of Makhathini pump station, more than 6 million was invested in the previous financial year, and further 2.2 million will be allocated to the current financial year. That will create over 56 job opportunities. The establishment of agri-hubs, I'm pleased to announce that, as promised in the last financial year, that the department has completed the planning phase, which includes the identification of site, geotech analysis, environmental impact assessment, and consultation with public and private sector. I'm pleased to announce that the department has already begun to to begin the environmental impact assessments processes of all agri-hubs and will, during the financial year 2022-23, the department will be focusing in conducting relevant studies, including public participation, which is intending to commence the bulk infrastructure of agri-hubs, and a 30 million has been set aside for this purpose. One of the focus area in the implementation of agri-hubs during the financial year 2022-23 is the finalization of resources mobilization phase and conclusion of contract and MOU with public or private partners. In this phase entails engagement with local and international interested funders and investors in the development of and operation of agri-hubs. In his State of the Nation of the Province address, the Honorable Premier S. Zikalala said, I quote, "The Red Meat Hub is going to be located in Zululand District Municipality, while the wool, skin and hide treatment facility will be located in Utugela District Municipality. The White Meat Hub will be located in the border of eThekwini and Umgungundlovu. The Dairy Hub will be located in Herigwala District, and the Fresh Produce Hub in King Cetshwayo, and the Green Hub in the Amajuba District Municipality, close quote." Lokhu kusitshengisa ngokusobala ke ukuthi singuhulumeni waKwaZulu-Natal sizimisele ukusebenza ngokukhulu ukuzikhandla ukuguqula izimpilo zabantu bakithi. Asset transfer to DART. We are pleased to report to this House that Honorable Chairperson, that the Radical Agrarian Socio-Economic Transformation Program has officially been moved from Department of ATIA to Department of Agriculture as of the 1st of April 2022. This move is the fulfillment of the decision by the KZN Executive Council to move the program to DART with full resources. The rationale of the decision is to align the program with the farmer support program for full benefit of the KwaZulu-Natal farmers that supply fresh produce to this RASET and expansion of opportunities in the value chain. RASET is now housed under the Program 3, Rural Development within the department with the budget. Well, in regard to the hemp and cannabis, which is a favorite subject, bahlonishwa, production, siyafuna ukuthi ke sihlalo sisho kule ndlu ukuthi siyazi ukuthi abantu bakithi bayibheke ngamehlo abovu ukuba le mboni ishintshwe iguqulwe yenze isiqiniseko sokuthi iyazimitha izidingo zabo, futhi sifuna ukuthi babe ingxenye yazo. I-master plan ke as guided by upresident iyenziwa ku-nationally, nathi siyingxenye ye-steering committee esenza lo msebenzi. Maduzane ke sizobe sesiletha umbiko through i-committee size siwulethe-ke kwi-house. Ukusupportwa kwabantu besifazane, which we call the vulnerable group, which is the youth, women, youth, and people with disability and veterans. Department recognize, and also we have supported with an amount of 26.1 million and supported about 230 vulnerable group projects constituting of 113 that are owned by women and 83 are owned by youth and 34 by disabled people. Unemployed agricultural graduates program department, honorable members, continue to do an excellent work on the placement of unemployed graduates in the commercial land reform farms and different agricultural enterprise in order to gain vital work experience. This will include, but is not limited to, the experiential training and on-farm mentorship. We are going to have we have placed about 340 of these graduates to the farms, and they are yielding the results. Veterinary service, the department has made a provision of remedies for livestock and animal health, and with a total amount of 50 million. For these amount is increased from the 2 million that we previously reported in this meeting. Foot and mouth disease, honorable members, in May 2021, the first case was reported in Umtubatuba local municipality in a deep tank called Nkonkoni, and subsequently the minister declared that area as a disease management area in KwaZulu-Natal. We have been seen going around educating our people and also vaccinating cattle in our province. We are still managing it, and we are certain that our work is yielding the result, and we have over 40,000 cattle that has been vaccinated. As we know that we have said in this house that we are going to turn our agricultural centers to centers of excellence, and also deal with the fourth industrial smart agriculture. Honorable members, since the world has gone to the fourth industrial revolution, it has been compelling for agriculture also to venture in the fourth industrial smart agriculture. I am pleased also to announce that the stride has been made in line with the fourth industrial smart agriculture. Department is currently developing systems to apply strategic development technologies, innovative mechanism, and it will be empower, develop skill, emerging and smallholders farmers into precision farmers that produce significant agricultural produce. Honorable Chair and the House, Sedar and Owen Sitole Agricultural Colleges, we acknowledge that the current farmers are aging, and there is a serious need to introduce new, young, and fresh farmers into the sector, which is why our colleges are ensuring that there is a contingency plan within the sector to take over the baton from the older generation farmers through the younger graduates and farmers. Honorable Chair and the House, want also to report on the soil fertility research. We have had unpredictable weather pattern during the last 3 years, which necessitated us as government to develop a strategy on climate change. In response to climate change, the department is increasing its investment in research, and in particular to adaptive conservation agricultural research. This research is specific to KwaZulu-Natal Agro ecological zones in development of new soil fertility testing methods. Research areas of focus illustrate the impact of conservation agriculture on the strategy on carbon sequestration, soil health, and conservation. Establishment of early morning farmers, that is in line with our RASET being on a part of us, and kulo mkhakha sitheke sizoqinisekisa ukuthi ke siyawaqhuba ama early morning farmers market, ukuqinisekisa ukuthi yonke imikhiqizo ayipheleli kubakhiqizi kodwa iyahamba iswe imakethe uba iyothengiswa, bese sikwazi ukuthi nabantu bakwaZulu-Natal bakwazi ukuzi-accessa. Angizuqhubeka ke ngifunde ke ngodaba labantu esizoba-supporta. We are having about 200 women esizoba-supporta in relation to that in all 11 districts. We are going to have these early morning farmers market each month. Shuthi ke njalo ngenyanga soba nawo lama markets. Mentorship program, a total of 37 agricultural projects has been part of the department's mentorship program for 21-22 financial year.
Sorry, Honorable MEC, may I remind members in the gallery that you are not allowed to clap hands, please. You are not allowed to clap hands. It's only the members of the legislature that are allowed to clap hands because they are protected by the rules of this house. Thank you.
I was in mentorship program. Most of these projects were from the youth, 22 women cooperative, 3 disabled, and 11 youth enterprise, and 1 male-owned and 4 male-owned enterprises were supported with a total amount of 3.7, and we have put aside in all districts for the period of 36 months. It's a period of mentorship that we are going to embark on, and it's going to be linked also to RASET, and certainly that will yield the result of seeing those projects being given access to other retailers such as Spar and Boxer. On the rural agro-industrialization, honorable members, the rural industrialization, particularly for youth, has never been explored. In the spirit of localization, we will develop plans to create local rural industries to produce common products required by farmers. The products to be explored will include animal feed manufacturing, barbed wire manufacturing, and pole manufacturing. Sizoyinikeza-ke abantu abasha ey'ndaweni zasemakhaya ukuze iy'mboni zasemakhaya nathi njengo-agriculture siyenze ukuba kube khona esikufakayo okumhlomulo ukushintsha ukuba umnotho walezo y'ndawo ube ngcono kunakuqala. Agri-Business Development Agency yethu as an entity nayo ibe nomsebenzi omningi esiwenzile kwaba nabantu esibasizile kuma-project wabo. Kune-project elaphaya ePenimari, vegetable project ebase emvoti niye umuden, siyisupportile-ke isupported through u-ADA. And the reason why we have decided to continue with this, to support this project with machinery and equipment in this financial year so that we see it standing on its own. That is 100% owned by women, which is youth, and it also had people with disability. Honorable Chair, may I take 5 minutes of my time? I'm about to finish from the response. Ngiyacela. Ngiyabonga Sihlalo. Beef enterprise on our quest.
I'll allow you to take 5 minutes, Honorable MEC. Please, musuhambisa lo 5 minutes. Musuhambisa lo 5 minutes zoe. Qala phansi. But we are going to deduct these 5 minutes at the end of the debate.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson, the financial year 2022 to 23, the agents will support a total of 15 commodity enterprises with infrastructure, production input stock, equipment, and breeding stock. These will include beef, poultry, goats, vegetable, and blueberry enterprises. In our quest to stimulate the beef industry, the agents will support 4 beef enterprise. Azobela phaya eMgungundlovu, eZululand, to name the few, and also we are going to give them the feed. It's a CCC cooperative is having about 4,615 hectares of beef grazing land, and nayo izosupportwa uqinisekisa ukuthi-ke kwenziwa i-feedlot lapha. Sheep production will continue with doing that, and also we have project that we have supported, which are youth-owned and women-owned in Umgungundlovu area, and they are doing well. On the goat, as I've indicated earlier on, will continue. Also on the poultry, will continue as we have said, and we are planning to have 10,000 layer product capacity, automated cages. Lokho kuzokwenziwa through u-ADA. Horticulture and crop production agents also will deal with that, and also an agent will develop the first blueberry export facility in KwaZulu-Natal as catalytic project based in Umgungundlovu, and it's a smile to us a right direction. Mentorship and capacity building initiative. We are here to say that we have partnered with Legislature, agency yona esilidayo lapho on dealing with short skills, mentorship, placement of graduate. Those are the causes that are going to hone our farmers to be able to deal with such produce that they are doing as we are supporting them. That is going to be commercial and those that are not commercial. Market access, as we have discussed, and we are also ready also to assist. In Intingwe, we are going to bring a report which is finalizing what actually is happening in Intingwe, and we are going to round up Intingwe and ensure so ke ikhona ke lapha emaphaketheni Intingwe ngizo senginawo ama-order ke lana ke HOD no acting CEO bathe ama members njalo ngenyanga ngilethe amabhokisi bazothenga ngoba bathe nje babeqala ukubona ama-pack bathi ikhona Intingwe ngase ngibona ukuthi senginayo imarket nama honorable members I would urge ukuthi ke nithathe amabhokisi ibhokisi niyodayisa ngasemakhaya nakuma constituents wenu yinina imarket yethu yokuqala ke support us and we are going to close out and then ensure that we develop that. I hear Honorable Chair present budget agriculture before this August House. The budget is structured in this manner. Program 1 is having 692,934,000. Program 2, agricultural development services is 1.7 billion. Program 3 is 84.4 million. And the total of our budget for this financial year, which is 2022 to 23, is 2,490,556,000. That is the amount that we are presenting. I want to conclude by saying that we are delighted that our turnaround strategy, which was implemented during the first year in office, is now bearing fruits. And siyakubona kakhulu lokho kwenzeka sifisa ukubonga kakhulu kumbutho wesizwe osinike leli thuba lokuba siwuhole le department. Sibonge kundunankulu kanye namalunga wonke executive council ngesupport abasinika yona masiza phambi kwabo. Kanjalo sibonga amakomiti kakhulukazi ikomiti la agriculture and rural development eliholwa umama usaphethe ukuba lisisupport kanye namalunga onke namakomiti wonke sisebenza nawo kwi legislature iscopa ifinance guidance ne leadership enisinika yona. We want to say thank you. I want also to thank the department led by Baba Usbande now wonke ama officials department for the work that they are doing. Ngibonge ama stakeholder esisebenza nawo ayo yonke ama commodities indlela abasebenza ngayo nangendlela ukuthi masibasizile asebeyiphatha ngayo imali nokwenza umsebenzi kuba ubonakale. Lokho kuzokwenza ukuba siyilwiseke impi yobupha nokungabi khona kwamathuba omsebenzi nokungalingani esizweni sakithi. Ngifisa ukubonga ke kakhulu ngibonga uNkulunkulu nje ongiphelele ithuba lokuthi ngikwazi ukuma kulomnyango ngize ngifike kulesi sikhathi engifika kusona ngizothula lolu hlahlo lwabiwo mali lika 22-23. Sengigcina ke ngibonga umndeni wami ngibonge nomyeni wami ngesupport abanginika yona ekhaya ngoba bengeke ngikwazi ukwenza lo msebenzi bengangesekile. Ngithi ke ngiyabonga kakhulu nakunina amalunga ngakho konke ngithi ningayiphezi ngiyabonga.
Thank you, Honorable MEC. On the speaker's note, we have on the speaker's list we have got the next speaker, who is the chairperson of Agriculture and Rural Development. She is going to table the report of the committee. Her name is Honorable N.N. Sibidla for 10 minutes. You've got 10 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, members of the Executive Council present, honorable members of the House, invited guests, and those that are watching these proceedings through various media platforms. Molweni, Sanbonani, Dumelang, good afternoon. Honorable Chairperson, I'm presenting this report on behalf of the Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development as guided by various pieces of legislation, including the standing rules of this August House. Honorable members, as we table this report, we are reminded of the recent catastrophic floods that visited our province last month. These floods caused an enormous destruction to life and livelihoods of the people of our province. We would like to extend our condolences to all those who lost their loved ones. Sithatha leli thuba ukudlulisa amazwi enduduzo kubo bonke abathe balahlekelwa zizihlobo nezelamani zabo ngenxa yalezi zikhukhula. Sithi akuhlanga lungehliyo, thuthuzelekani. Sihlalo siyayithola imbiko nsuku zonke ukuthi kusekhona labo abangekazitholi izihlobo zabo ukuthi zashona kuphi kuze kube namhlanje. Nakubo sithi ningalahli ithemba, siyathemba izinhlelo ezikhona zikahulumeni kazwelonke nowesifundazwe ukuthi ziyokwazi ukuthi zinisize ekugcineni nigcine niwatholile amathambo wenu niwabeke kwindawo efanele. Siyakuqonda kakhulu ukuthi lokhu kuyinkinga enkulu ikakhulukazi ukuthi bantu ukuthi singalazi ithambo ukuthi lilele kuphi. Ngakho-ke lezi zinhlelo ezikhona zikahulumeni uma ziqhubeka zikwazi ukuthi zilekelele, siyathemba ukuthi ziyonincedisa to find closure. Malunga hloniphekileyo, the agricultural sector was also severely affected by these floods. Thousands of hectares of farmland were damaged. Livestock was washed away. Road infrastructure leading to farms and connecting farms was also destroyed. In many cases, Honorable Chairperson, or in many areas where I visited, endwedwe kwamaphumulo emzwabantu sizibonile ukuthi lezi zikhukhula zikhoze idamage engakanani. Kwakubuhlungu sibukele abantu bethwele ukudla kwezingulube bengakwazi ukungena ngenxa yokuthi izindlela zilimele. Abantu abagade izingulube kwakufanele ukuthi balayishe 100 kg emqolo behambisa ukudla. Into ke leyo ebuhlungu kakhulu. Le eGreytown eMuden ubaba laphaya walahlekelwa zinkomo ezo9 ezahamba ngamanzi ngosuku nje olulodwa. So kube inkinga kakhulu kumkhakha lo wethu. Somlomo mhlali ngaphambili nizokhumbula ukuthi aqala ukuthi KwaZulu-Natal kube nezikhukhula ezifana nalezi. Nizokhumbula ukuthi ngo-2018 sike saba nayo inkinga yezimvula ezimandla zalimaza uhlelo lokulima kwesifundazwe sethu. Nango-2020 sibuye sathola imvula ezinkulu ngesikhathi esingafanele nalapho futhi sadala umonakalo kwezolimo. Honorable Chairperson, the South African Weather Services reported that parts of our province during that period yezikhukhula received between 200 millimeters and 400 millimeters of rain. This, Honorable Chairperson, is something that has never happened in the recent history, especially during the month of April. It can only mean one thing, that climate change is here. And we need to strengthen our mitigation and adaptation efforts so that we can save all lives on Earth. Honorable Chairperson, we are also told by the experts that lezi mvula esizitholileyo la KwaZulu-Natal sekuzoba insakavukela ngokuqhubeka kokuhamba kweminyaka. Ngakho-ke kufanele sibe nezinhlelo eziqondile zokwenza isiqinisekiso sokuthi uma lezi mvula zifika abantu bakithi baphephile, ezolimo nokudla kuvikelekile. Honorable Chairperson, the committee scrutinized the APP and budget of the department and its entities using the tools of the public sector oversight model. The first draft of the APP and budget was presented to the committee in November 2021, and the committee held a stakeholder engagement in Umhlabuyalingana local municipality on the 8th of December 2021. The final draft of the department APP 2022-2023 and budget was tabled on the 5th of April 2022 and was unanimously adopted by all parties present in the meeting. Honorable Chairperson, in our stakeholder meeting, farmers raised a number of issues zibhekise emnyangweni. Kodwa ke ngizobala ezimbalwa. Ubaba laphaya uK Mjoli walaphaya eMhlabuyalingana wacela ukuthi umnyango uqinise izinhlelo ze-monitoring kuma-projects that are funded by i-department. Basola ukuthi MEC kunamanye ama-projects that are funded uthola ukuthi akukho lutho kodwa phansi. So bacela umnyango uqinise izinhlelo. Kanti ubaba uZakhele yena wacela ukuthi umnyango wandise izinhlelo zokulekelela abalimi ngaphansi komasipala waseMhlabuyalingana. Unkosazana noZipho Mngomezulu wacela ukuthi isishayamthetho silekelele abantu besifazane kule ndawo yaseMkhanyakude ukuthi nabo bakwazi ukuthola amalungelo omhlaba ngaphandle kokuncikiswa kubantu besilisa. Sihlalo emva kwezingxoxo ezijulile zekomiti ngalolu hlelo lwe-department lwalo nyaka, sivumelene ukuthi sinxuse umnyango ukuthi usinikeze le mbiko elandelayo ngayo inyanga kaMeyi. We are requesting the department to submit a report before the end of May 2022 on how the transfer of the 2 agricultural colleges to the Department of Higher Education will impact on skills development programs that are offered by these colleges. We are worried that maybe the standardization at the national level can have a negative impact on the programs that are offered for our farmers. We are also requesting a report, Honorable MEC, on how you are planning to recapitalize Intingwe Tea Estate. This matter has been on our table for a number of years, and we want to really finalize the discussions around this matter. The third one, we are requesting, MEC, that your department through ADA submit a clear turnaround strategy with timelines for Makhathini flats. Asikwazi ukuthi nathi njengoba sesibangaka singaze sibe ezigrey sikhuluma udaba lwaseMakhathini. Enye Honorable Chairperson, sicela undunankulu wesifundazwe sethu ukuthi akhulumisane nozakwabo ku-national ukuthi la kulesi sifundazwe sakithi ku-establishwe a proper and bigger foot and mouth quarantine facility so that we avoid the impact of this disease in our economy. We are also requesting the Honorable MEC to improve the allocations for research and development in the next financial year. We believe that agriculture is a science-led department. Therefore, your research should be funded adequately. Honorable Chairperson, okokugcina, we ask the Honorable Speaker through you to allocate more time and resources for us to be able to scrutinize kahle ama-APPs and budgets that are presented by the departments to the committee. In conclusion, Honorable Chairperson, I wish to take this opportunity to thank the MEC, Honorable Sithole Mloyi, as well as the officials of the department led by the HOD, Sibande, for putting systems in place to deal with chronic management challenges in the department. The committee, Honorable MEC, is impressed with the improvements on spending patterns as well as the audit findings by the AG. Lastly, Honorable Chairperson, ngicela ukubonga amalunga committee that we have a team of dedicated and forever ready honorable members to execute their duties. We even work on weekends in this committee. And sibonga kakhulu kwi-support esitholayo, kwi-support kuma-officials, our researchers, coordinator, bonke abasi lekelelayo ukuthi sikwazi ukwenza umsebenzi wethu kahle. Siyabonga kakhulu ngomsebenzi enwenzayo. Sicela niqhubeke kanjalo. Ndiyabulela kakhulu sihlalo.
Enkosi siyabulela nathi sihlalo. And the next speaker, who is going to be the first speaker to debate agriculture and rural development, is Honorable MC Fraser of the ANC. You have 10 minutes, Honorable Fraser.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, Honorable Premier and your executive, honorable members. Ngiyabingelela kakhulu kwi-gallery yethu engibona kukhona abantu engibahlonipha ngendlela eyisimanga, ama-veterans. Honorable Chairperson, we are pleased with this opportunity to affirm our support to this budget vote, which we believe is progressive and is in line with the electoral mandate that the citizens of KwaZulu-Natal entrusted to this 6th administration. The MEC, as a deployee of the ANC, has demonstrated the commitment of her department to ensure that we all move towards attaining key tenets of the Freedom Charter. There is a long road ahead, but at least we have made a giant leap. Also, Chair, the ANC, as the leader of the society, believes that stakeholders are a critical partner in ensuring service delivery. We salute the MEC, Usithole Mloyi, for being practical in that regard. As a portfolio committee, we have witnessed the improvement of the department under the current leadership. We have noted the improvements in expenditure management and on the service delivery front to the department, which is an indication of the positive outcomes of the turnaround in the department. The work of the department is getting noticed. The Honorable Premier of the province recently awarded gold awards to the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development on the categories for the best communication team during national lockdown and best public service innovator of the year from the Soil Science Laboratory section, which started producing sanitizers during the COVID-19 lockdown, distributed to farmers and farm dwellers. The department was also recognized with silver awards on the best frontline service delivery employee of the year and best implemented project of the year. This shows that the good work done by the department to help communities is being noticed. The ANC-led government is committed to building a capable ethical developmental state as per priority number 1 of the medium-term strategic framework. In the past, the department has had a critical problem of ineffective systems and systematic decline of governance controls. We witnessed the department getting 3 qualified AG audit outcomes from 2016-17, 2017-18, 2018 and 19, until the tide turned when the turnaround was introduced. From 2019-2020 and 2021-2021, the department has achieved unqualified audit outcomes. This is evidence that the interventions that have been introduced are starting to bear results. As a committee looking at the affairs of the department, we still want to see an even bigger improvement and not regression. One of the important areas that as a committee we have been pushing for the department to address is the issue of under-expenditure. South Africa and KwaZulu-Natal in particular is grappling with the historical problem of poverty, persistent inequality, and record of high unemployment. Our country is the most unfortunate global tech, as the most unequal country in the world, according to the World Bank. That is why we are emphatic that departments cannot afford to squander public funds or return them to national fiscus. As a result, we are noting with some appreciation that the department, which in 2018-2019 had under expenditure of 264 million, was able to reduce that to 98 million. In 2019-2020 to 17 million. Then in 2021, and now it has less than 1 million under expenditure in 2021-2022. Kuyabonakala kakhulu sihlalo ukuthi department isebenza ngokukhulu ukuzikhandla, and kuyabonakala ukuthi imali i-department enikezwayo iyayisebenzisa ngokufanelekile ngendlela efanele. Siyancoma kakhulu lokho siyikomiti. Honorable Chair, Indeed, this is a story of transformation, an indication that there is a work being done to manage public funds better, but also improve the service delivery of mechanization, farmer support, veterinary services, land care, research and training, to mention the few. When we engage with the department in the coming year, Honorable MEC and your management, we hope not to speak about issues of irregular, fruitless and wasteful expenditure. Siyazicela kakhulu siyikomiti ukuthi lezo indaba akube yindaba esingeke sisazixoxa. That must be a thing of the past. We want to focus on service delivery, which is helping the smallholder farmers, our poor communities that are food insecure, farm workers and farm dwellers whose China is threatened. That is what the African National Congress has sent us here to do. To ensure that the most vulnerable in our society are protected and are also empowered. After all, we are a caring and progressive movement. Sifuna ukubuyisa ithemba kubantu bakithi. Sibona sengathi department izokwazi ukusilekelela ukuthi sifinyelele kuleyo nhloso. Sinciphise ububha, sinciphise indlala, sibuyise ithemba, sakhe umnotho ngezolimo. Siyafisa sihlale ukuthi sisho ukuthi indlela i-department ephethe ngayo izimali iyancomeka kakhulu. Siyafisa futhi ukuthi sisho ukuthi nalapho sihamba khona siyikomiti siyathola ukuthi abantu bayasinikeza ukuthi kwenzakalani njengoba bebhizi bezibandakanya nezolimo. Siyafisa ukuthi ukukhuluma kwethu nokuphasisa kwethu isabelo zimali namhlanje kuqhubekise umsebenzi omuhle esiwubona i-department eholwa umama uBongi Sithole Mloyi ethunywe uKhongolose iqhubeke ibasize abantu ngoba babukeka besanelisekile. Ingakho ke sihlalo ngimela namhlanje ngokuthunywa u-African National Congress ngiqinisekisa ukuthi siyayisupport i-budget. Ngiyabonga kakhulu.
Siyabulela, Honorable Fraser. The next speaker to debate is an IFP member, Honorable TJ Gumede, for 15 minutes.
Good day, Honorable Chair, honorable members and our guests on various platforms. This debate takes place in a very difficult time facing our province. The extent of the damage caused by the floods in KwaZulu-Natal is enormous. It will certainly lead to the higher food prices. Food scarcity, starvation, and poverty will be the second name to the lower income groups, aggravated by an alarmingly high unemployment rate. Established and emerging farmers in the district of eThekwini, Mgungundlovu, Ilembe, Ugu and King Cetshwayo were the most affected and have suffered millions in loss. In a sector that is so difficult to ensure, urgent action is needed to avoid agricultural job losses, to improve food production and infrastructure repairs. Sugarcane and macadamia nut farmers alone suffered damages worth more than 222 million to floods. Hundreds of hectares of sugarcane were washed away when hillsides slided. Some farms are up to date still inaccessible due to roads and bridges collapse. And these people will need a relief of some kind to rescue them. Looking again into the numbers of unemployment in this province, IFP is convinced that subsistence farming and small-scale farmers must not be ignored. They must have a share in this budget. Here we talk about people of Otobotili and Skemelele and Mkanyagude, who lost all their crops and livestock such as goats. We'll talk about Thando Makabane, a small-scale farmer living in Durban who felt defeated after losing her stock of 20,500 chickens during the flooding of her two small farms. Honorable Chair, these attempts are not insured. Thando estimated her loss to 3 million to start from scratch. People of Otobotinis, Kemelele, and Thando represent many across the breadth and width of this province who are not fortunate to be mentioned here. The damage caused by the floods demonstrated how fragile the agricultural sector is and the importance of the department to extensively research preventative measures as the climate change and its consequences is becoming increasingly apparent. Over the next 50 years, according to the scientists, it's predicted that most of South Africa will be more hotter and more drier, worsening the droughts already existing in the areas of importance in food production. The importance of the department to vigorously deal with the issues of maintenance and underperforming officials cannot be mentioned. The issue of Makhathini flats, where maintenance is so frustrating, does not help identify market, does not help KZN in food security. The department must develop economic nodes and identify market corridors. To some farmers, this is a double blow as they are trying to recover from the December storms, which caused a plus minus 43.2 million worth of damaged crops. This will have long-term ramifications affecting both the local export-import agricultural goods. Therefore, the reduction of a 2.4 billion rand from the 2022-23 budget allocation does not speak to the existing and added problems in the sector. The MEC is metaphorically told to go and play a professional soccer game without soccer boots. The agricultural sector is now more critical for the economic development of the rural areas and the country as a whole. It has the potential of raising rural income and building local economies as well as ensuring sufficient production of affordable food. For years, IFP has been advocating self-help and self-reliance. This is the time to take heed of the call. Engage all stakeholders, including Izinduna, because they are just down there with the people that we sometimes forget about for educational purposes and dissemination of information. On March last year, the department imposed a ban on the movement of the livestock in Mkanyagude, Zululand, and King Cetshwayo district. Although there were no clear awareness programs communicated to the communities, nonetheless, we are so happy and we commend the department for the control of the foot and mouth disease. Inkathi enkululeko yesizwe ikhathazekile ngokwehla ngo-1.9% kwemali elekelela abantu ukuthi bacoshe okuncane emnothweni ebizwa ngokuthi i-EPWP conditional grant futhi ingafakwa eminyakeni emibili ezayo 2023-24 2024-25 ngonyaka wezimali. Lokhu kuncishiswa kwemali koshiya kakhulu abampofu bengazi ukuthi bazocoshana. Our concern about the culture of underspending in this department will automatically be the thing of the past because our MEC, we can see that she is trying, but she must put on the officials. We hope, because with the multitude of this expected work and such budget cuts, there will be no room for underspending. Vacant posts affect the performance of the department. We implore the ABC, Honorable Stolemloy, to appoint competent individuals. The MEC must appoint an independent body to be in charge of shortlisting, interviewing, and making recommendations. This will take care of the appointment of any politically favored yet incompetent individual. In the midst of budget cuts, KZN looks forward to receiving billions of rand in a fund from the National Treasury and donors responding to the catastrophic floods. We, as the official opposition in this House, will be watching with an eagle eye as to how the funds are being administered. There must be no tolerance for the abuse of public funds. Procurement, which is always the root of the evil, must be cost-effective and fair. There must be no room for corruption, no room for mismanagement or fraud like we witnessed in the COVID-19 pandemic procurement. We demand transparency and accountability as the projects are costed, implemented, and how resources are being deployed from the beginning. Please, awungaqhamuki izinkampani ezicosha imisebenzi kodwa zibe zirejistwe izolo. Athi umuntu eseqashiwe senomsebenzi kanti usaqedela ukurejistwa because they will always be incompetent. I must remind the ruling party that they should be worried that since the disaster strike in KZN, the most burning public debate has been around fears that the much needed financial resources will be misappropriated. And I believe in you, and I know you won't play into anyone's expectations. Rest assured, the IFE will be strengthening the oversight visits on various projects to prevent the abuse of power and public money under the national state of disaster. We'll investigate every company awarded these tenders. In conclusion, Madam Chair, we commend the improvement and performance of this department compared to the previous years. However, we are displeased with the irregular expenditure and lack of consequence management against officials who get away without facing disciplinary measures for their poor management of the department's funds and failure to adhere to financial regulations. In the interest of our people who need help from this department for their survival, the IFP supports the budget. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Kumete. May I remind members who debate or speak, who get in these debates visually, to please use the KZN banner. Just put the KZN banner behind. I just want to remind you of the effect of that because the speaker has emphasized on that. The next speaker to debate is a DA member, Honorable E-Rep, for 8 minutes.
Good afternoon, Hlalo, my fellow honourable members, ladies and gentlemen. As you may be aware, I'm relatively new to the portfolio of agriculture and rural development and can honestly say that over the past few months, I've learned a great deal. Core functions of the department: food security, farmer development, veterinary services, rural development, and governance. Unfortunately, the very first thing I learned was that this department is used as a cash cow. Something money is thrown at without giving serious consideration as to whether the money can or will be managed appropriately and responsibly. M.S. Swaminathan said, and I quote, "If agriculture goes wrong, nothing else will have a chance to go right." Close quote. This is where our survival as humanity starts and ends. There can surely be no doubt that agriculture should be a critical priority for every government. So why can't this government get it right? Underspending. If one looks at the trend of underspending within this department, it is little wonder why our budget is cut year after year. Let me share this picture with you. In 2017-18, the department underspent by 164.279 million. 72.479 million of that was for conditional grants. In 2018-19, the department underspent by 264.4 million. 97.912 million of that was for conditional grants. In 2019-20, the department underspent by 98.648 million. 77.197 million of that was for conditional grants. In 2020-21, the department underspent by 17.151 million. 16.940 million of that was for conditional grants. In 2021-22, the department is projecting to fully spend its budget. If this happens, I suggest you watch your heads for flying pigs. Vacant posts. It seems that this department is not exempt from the illness of critical vacant posts not being filled. It begs the question, how does any department function effectively without filling all vacancies? In 2019-20, there were 80 vacant posts. In 2020-21, there was 194. And although the department now has only 107 vacant posts, which is a slight reduction, they are so critical to inner workings of the department that they truly cannot be delayed any further. The department is to endure massive cuts in compensation of employees over the MTEF, with it being 162.769 million, 233.399 million, and 287.582 million respectively. Had the department not taken so long to fill the vacancies over the years, there wouldn't be a need for us to be talking about the financial risk to the department today in this respect. Impact on the sector through COVID-19, July 2021 riots and the recent floods. Just like every other sector, agriculture and rural development was severely impacted. The pandemic exacerbated the need for food security, and due to this, the department revitalized the One Home, One Garden program. Whilst this program's goal is amicable, it is a recycled program with nothing new to add. We still don't know how many households have benefited from this program, nor how much was spent on it. It looks like another failed attempt by government to remain relevant in the eyes of communities. I'm concerned about the very little assistance our sugarcane farmers have received during all the devastating occurrences these past 2 years. It's a known fact that most of the sugarcane comes from KwaZulu-Natal. So if this industry faces challenges, it ultimately means that the entire country will be affected. I'm not sure how much more these producers can endure. Surely we should be doing more to assist them. Research. This is a critical unit within the department, but given the outbreak of foot and mouth disease in the Umkhanyakude district, one is left to wonder whether this unit is capable of delivering on its mandate. The negative impact of FMD on the livestock research plans to expand trials on the feedlotting of beef cattle and address production constraints and inefficiencies faced by beef farmers is of grave concern. Equally so, not having sufficient state veterinarians in the province has enabled the FMD outbreak to grow and move exponentially, so much so that it has spread outside of the province. The department must take serious proactive measures now before it's too late. Ntingwe tea. When it comes to Ntingwe tea, we are not flogging the proverbial dead horse. No, we're flogging a decaying horse. The big question is why? According to the Auditor General's report since 2019-20 to 2020-21, the department has approved and transferred a total of approximately 13.8 million for ADA to resuscitate activities at the Ntingwe tea estate. In total, it is estimated that the government has spent approximately 135 million on the estate, with 2 different turnaround strategies which have not materialized. Currently, in the 2021 financial year, a 3rd turnaround strategy, i.e. Ntingwe Resuscitation Plan dated 31 July 2020, of 5 years requiring a further 100 million is being implemented. Let's not forget to mention that financial statements have not been submitted by Ntingweti since 2015. To this day, the MEC and her department has failed to respond to my questions regarding Ntingweti's so-called resuscitation plan. Again, I ask why. Why is there no transparency here? Mjindi farming. The Portfolio Committee recently did oversight at Mjindi in the Makatini flats. The only possible solution to this irrigation scheme working is to literally start afresh. There's no way this scheme can be salvaged with the current infrastructural issues and political interference by the communities themselves. This is such a pity because if government had managed this properly from the very beginning, it would have brought about substantial economic growth for our province. But it is unfortunately another example of a failed state, and it certainly seems as though there's no political will to take a stand here and do what is right for the province and for its people. I will be back, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Member. The next speaker to debate is an EFF member, Honourable N.L. Baipeli, for 9 minutes.
Greetings, Honorable Chair, honorable members. In the province of KZN, we are still mourning the death of those we lost to the pandemic, which sees numerous new cases added to the stats every day. The KZN floods also wreaked havoc, and so many of our people losing entire families and members of families to the raging waters. Our deepest condolences and heartfelt sympathies are with the families of those loved ones were lost in this terrible disaster. These floods, as well as the COVID pandemic, has taken a huge toll on our beloved province. Thousands of our people are being housed in churches, community halls, and anywhere they can find a space. They rely on the donations of kind-hearted people like the EFF Commander-in-Chief, Honorable Julius Silomalema, to provide them with the dignity they deserve as sons and daughters of the soil. These people have been abandoned by this government who want to deal with land on the terms of our oppressors. Our people died and are homeless because of heartless decision of this government to deal with land according to the instruction of our oppressors. The EFF will never subscribe to this or will negotiate with anybody. We want the land and it is ours. The failure of this department to acquire and allocate land to the black child forced them to build on riverbanks and on floodplains, where they and their families were swept away like trash by raging water in April 2022. They were doomed to this fate by this captured government who do not have the courage to expropriate land without compensation so that our people can live with honor and dignity in their land, their country, whom their fathers gave their blood and very lives for. To add insult to their injury, they are now unable to feed themselves by growing basic food crops to survive. The agricultural sector has been particularly hard hit in these floods. Crops that feed the nation and played an important part in the economy were lost. Farmers have suffered huge losses and are battling to recover start again. In particular, is this small-scale farmer who feeds himself and his village and doesn't have the luxury of farming his own land and affording insurance to cover his losses. Why? Because this captured government has no courage to go against their masters to provide land for the masses who vote for them at every election. It is time our people had a mindset change and voted against this government. KwaZulu-Natal is one of the main livestock farming areas in South Africa. The province has a total of 6.5 million hectares of land for farming purposes, of which 82% is situated for extensive livestock production and 18% is for arable farming. Much of this farmland is now rotting with vegetation and carcasses of animals that succumbed to the waters. It will take a long time for the land to recover. What are the measures that this department has instituted to help the black farmer in this regard? The majority of Africans will be dependent on farming for decades to come. Workshops teaching scarce skills in agriculture, in particular crop rotation and prevention of erosion. Crop rotation, the proper use of machines are badly needed. This workshop will be highly beneficial if it is held in every district. Many farmers are still using the old ways of farming and are not making full and productive use of the land. This department must stop wasting so much money on administration and nonsensical projects like EPWP, which essentially are just excuses to give jobs to ANC cadres who put up election posters and do menial jobs for the organization. It is time that the department use their budget effectively to create proper jobs that help our people benefit from this sector, instructors, technicians, professionally, farmers, etc. Saying that you are helping 100 of so graduates from thousands of unemployed graduates is nothing more than a smokescreen and a very embarrassing attempt to mislead our people into thinking or believing that you actually care about them and want to uplift their lives and the lives of their families in the way that you use the budget allocated to you. Your officials in the department play God and confiscate land owned by historical disadvantaged black families and reallocate this land to their friends and families or the highest bidder. This corruption is nothing new. It has been going on for decades, yet there has been no steps taken to rectify these criminal activities by criminal members of the department. The cries of our people are silenced by these employees, and they have no other resource but to die a slow and painful death as they watch their family land being developed and having structures erected on it, making it almost impossible to reclaim because it's now tied up in colonial bureaucracy. Can you hear the cries of the black child, Honorable MEC? These are your children whom you have thrown to the wolves. Our people have no water, yet dams and canals are owned by the white businessmen in Jozini who have security to make sure that our people cannot use the water from those canals and dams. What a disgrace and shame. Our forefathers must be turning in their grave to see their children treated in such an inhuman way that they have to beg and be treated like vermin on their own land for basic things like water. To date, the situation remains in Jozini. When will this department rectify this shameful act it has allowed to go on for 28 years? No, Honorable NEC, you and this department of yours are playing with the lives of our people. I urge you to make drastic changes to the way this department is run, as it is vitally and very necessary tool in the uplifting of the lives of our people, and it is not being used effectively. I thank you, Slan.
Thank you, Honorable Member, and thank you for saving us time. You have saved 1 minute. The next speaker to debate is Honorable N.B. Mthethwa of the ANC, who'll debate for 10 minutes.
Thank you, our chair. Our chair, the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, the members of the Executive Committee, the members of the Provincial Legislature, traditionally community, business leadership, ladies and gentlemen, please receive my greetings on behalf of the Discipline Force, the glorious Congress movement of the longest serving President, Oliver Reginald Tambo, who managed to lead the African National Congress with his then collective during the most challenging times until he passed the baton in the first ANC National Conference in Durban in 1991. After the unbanning of the liberation movement and other political parties, on the chair, the African National Congress-led government has been hard at work to better the lives of our people through its maximum program called the National Democratic Revolution, which will deliver the South Africans that is united, democratic, non-racial, non-sexist, and prosperous society. Of course, the damage caused by the more than 300 years of colonial apartheid is too deep to be resolved within the less than 30 years, such that even those opposition parties who claim that we have not done anything to better the lives of our people are mere playing the gallery. Regardless of the challenges of poverty, unemployment, and inequality, which is the part of legacy of the colonial apartheid, the ANC government remains committed to forge ahead with its program to respond to many of the problems facing our society. As such, Honorable Chair, the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development also play a very strategic role in advancing the struggle to better the lives of our people. It is for that above reason, Honorable Chair, that we must welcome the budget speech as presented by Honorable MEC Mama Bongisithole Mloyi. As the ANC, we support the budget vote speech as tabled today. However, let me talk to the provision of the veteran services, impact of foot and mouth disease on the economy, and will also highlight the national and government intervention in this regard. Honorable Chair, as indicated by the MEC, indeed, the provision of veterinary services, animal health, has remained very important, especially for several rural communities, and productivity of the livestock could be improved by animal health input and interventions. However, an important challenging factor in rural communities is a distorted distribution of veterinary services, as well as uneven access to the animal health care. As a result, Honorable Chair, we must congratulate the department for resolving that in order to address the aforementioned imbalances, it will focus on improving access to veterinary services across the country through compulsory community services program and primary animal health care are being implemented. The CCS program, or the chair, aims to provide accessible and affordable veterinary services in the province, especially the rural communities. We also welcome the fact that the above-mentioned program will also involve the deployment of newly qualified veterinarians across the province to mainly focus on disease prevention, rendering ambulatory services, and providing education, especially regarding responsible pet ownership, resources utilization, and optimizing livestock production. Lokhu ke kuzosilekelela kakhulu sihlala ekwehliseni izikhalo zama-unemployment graduate, okusho ukuthi impela uhulumeni kaKhongolose uyasebenza noma ke bengafuni nje ukuvuma abanye. We must also congratulate the ANC-led government in generally and the program of the agriculture and rural development for ensuring that on top of the current 6 clinics across the province, there will be 3 new clinics procured in this financial year. In eThekwini, Umbumbulu, Ilembe, Maphumulo, Ladysmith, Mhlumayo. Ngaphezu kwalokho ke sihlalo siyawuhalalisela uhulumeni kaKhongolose for ensuring that the province receive 15 CCS veterans who assume their responsibility as of the 1st March 2021 to 28 February 2022. In March 2022, the province received 18 CCS and placed across the province. Uhulumeni kaKhongolose impela is at hard work. Sihlalo ohloniphekile, the impact of food on mouth disease on economy. We know the fact that support to small-scale farmers by veteran unit of the department in May 2021. We also know that Botswana announced the banning of the importation of live cloven food, hoofed animals, and their product, as well as felt grass, banning manure contaminated vehicles from South Africa. In June 2021, it was announced that the live cloven hoofed animals, as well as raw product from cloven hoofed animals, is banned from entering Eswatini. Products of cloven hoofed animal origin that have been adequately processed via canning, cooking, and pasteurization from all provinces except Limpopo and KZN will be allowed to enter Eswatini. Regulations regarding this importation ban will be adjusted with the changing FMD situation in KwaZulu-Natal. The impact of FMD in the province cannot be measured solely in monetary terms because of the following. 1, the cattle play a central role in the everyday life of many rural people. 2, high proportion of the rural population is dependent on the small-scale farming. 3, the cattle are one of the most marketable commodities at the disposal of rural people. And an active cattle market is a necessity to afford the ability to raise cash as and when required. Cultural activities are not being performed due to movement control measures put in place. Lastly, the pig farmers are not being able to sell their pigs and thus lead to spending more money on buying feed. Chair, we applaud the provision of ongoing technical support from the national government to the province to control the rapidly spreading disease, a provision of 80,000 doses of vaccines. Ear tags has been provided. The DMA gazetted and declared a provincial intervention and the movement control through veteran visibility patrols, roadblocks, awareness, working with their stakeholders, SAPS, RTI, Livestock Association, traditional leaders, and livestock industry. Clinical inspection and serial surveillance at the deep tanks. Ongoing biosecurity awareness, vaccination of affected deep tanks, which started on the 16th of March 2022. Of the chair, which is the branding and ear tag of the chair, and the issuing of movement permit, including the issuing of stock registered and stock cards to a deep tank committees and procurement of the veteran consumables and equipment. With those words, Chair, the ANC support the budget vote as presented. Thank you very much, Honourable Chair.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. According to the speakers list, we are supposed to have the next speaker, an NFP member, Honourable C.M. Shinga, who was supposed to debate for 3 minutes. However, we received an apology. We therefore going to move on with the speakers list. The Honorable Honorable S. Thakurat Bansi,
Thank
MF
you.
member, is going to debate for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable MEC, for your comprehensive report. The MF supports this 2.49 billion budget. I thank our dedicated Honorable Chair, Sibishla Sapete. The best news is that the RASIT program has been transferred from ETIA to DART. This will ensure political transparency and engagement in this program, which belongs here. The challenges to spur KZN's agrarian economy remain: land ownership, slow transfer, and reform. This is causing ongoing conflict among enthusiastic emerging farmers. Rising theft, that is livestock, tools, and cables, and farmer murders, which needs dedicated civilian oversight with SAPS. Weak performance of Eskom and DRAF, yet efficient electricity and water supply is essential to farmer success. Access to markets means empowering cooperatives and ensuring fully operational packhouses and the filling of vacant posts. Honorable MEC, farmers are pleased with the voucher system of direct assistance, but to gain full trust of farmers, they require mentorship. As you've mentioned, Indian farmers have indicated that their availability, they are available to mentor. This is a great potential with cannabis farming. Similarly, with the expansion of cotton, which must be pursued to spur local cloth and clothing manufacture. I was pleased to hear the Honorable Premier announce the pursuance of biofuel and ethanol blended energy solutions. Given KZN's sugarcane abundance, I have highlighted this opportunity from 2014. Honorable MEC, our committee visited Makatini Flats a few days ago, which uses only 3,500 hectares out of 80,000 hectares available arable land. Please fast-track biofuels. The committee will support this. Honorable Speaker, I have always motivated for Intingwe Tea Estate to be successful. KZN must do what Thailand had done. That is, their tea brands are world-renowned, as these have had the royal seal of approval. With the coronation of His Majesty, let's adopt such a business strategy offered by our Zulu Kingdom heritage. The Department of Local Government needs to work with DART to implement rural spatial development in a look-like-a-village model to slow the urban overpopulation and speed rural repopulation. Finally, DART is starting to move on climate change response. Hence, I agree with our Honorable Chair that this department's budget should increase in the research programs. However,
Thank you, Honorable Member. Your time is up.
Need to be filled. The MF supports
Your time is
this
up,
budget.
Honorable Member. Thank you so
Thank
much. May I give an opportunity to the next member, a member of the ANC, Honorable B.M. Zuma, who will debate for 10 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Premier, the Speaker of KwaZulu-Natal, MEC Stole Moloi, and other MEC members and guests in the gallery. I greet you. Chairperson, household food and nutrition security relies heavily on rural food production, and this contributes substantially to poverty alleviation. Rural development has been the driving force of agriculture and agricultural development in developing countries such as South Africa. Therefore, this means that without rural development, agricultural development will be irrelevant. In order to alleviate this, we must create a shared value system and build an inclusive, thriving, and globally competitive agricultural sector. Chairperson, as this August House, we need to seriously reflect on the impact of the recent floods in the province, especially on agriculture and rural development. Our province is a major producer of agricultural products such as sugar, milk, and poultry, to mention but a few. And this has negatively impacted on food value chain. The socioeconomic effects are greatly felt on the cost of food as well as trade. Ngiyathemba nje ukuthi sisonke nje bahlonishwa siyavumelana ukuthi lesi simo senza ukuthi okuya ngasethunjini kubize kakhulu kumbe eqolo kulezi zinsuku. Of great concern is that we have seen the gains that have been made by the ANC-led government through various initiatives being reversed. We want to highlight the impact of the flood to farmers generally, but especially on emerging farmers. As we speak, some of the farmers cannot access their farms due to the fact that roads have been damaged by the floods. Kodwa siyazingoma kakhulu izinhlelo esizwayo ukuthi zihlongozwa uhulumeni, sicabanga ukuthi zizohamba elide ibanga ukusiza kakhulukazi amaplazi asafufusa. Today, Chairperson, our focus is on Program 3, Rural Development, which provides for rural development coordination and social facilitation functions. We must highlight that KwaZulu-Natal is a rural province, and as such, agricultural development plays a significant role in growing the economy and the creation of jobs. Given the fiscal constraints, we welcome the allocation made towards Vote 3 as announced by the MEC. Consistent with the budget, we want to appreciate funding that has been allocated for Program 3, in that it will enable the department to embark on a number of initiatives. We must appreciate that a number of opportunities have been created for our young people to further education and training, focusing on agriculture and its commodities. We welcome the contribution made by the Unemployed Agriculture Graduates Youth Program through the department. This has seen a number of unemployed graduates being placed in various agricultural initiatives. The graduates under this program have been equipped with the new skills on the management of agronomic seed production operations, thus improving employability and entrepreneurship. Most importantly, these graduates do receive a stipend which contributes significantly to their livelihood. Again, we have learned with great pleasure that more than 300 new graduates will be joining this placement program as announced by the MEC for the 2022-23 financial year. The increase in the MTEF catering the additional graduates during the next financial year is welcome. Honorable Chairperson, we want to applaud the department for initiating the unemployed graduate program and fulfilling the commitment they made. We believe that it does create opportunities for experiential learning and consequently skills development. Soon as the province, we will be seeing great young entrepreneurs which have been developed through this program. Further, we are encouraging that more young people should be enrolled on such program. The injection made towards these 6 research stations, namely Sidara, Dandi, Kokstad, Butlow, Makatini, and Oscar is welcome. We are also noting that the department is intending to implement the agronomic seed program to its full capacity for the 2022 financial year. Again, a huge hectares will be planted in the department's research stations for the seed multiplication. This will include maize, dry beans, groundnuts, potato seeds. Siyakholwa ukuthi lezi zinhlelo zizohlomulisa imiphakathi yakithi ngamakhono ahlukahlukene futhi kuthuthuke nomnotho walesi sifundazwe saKwaZulu-Natal. We all understand that agri-hubs are the best way to pull together funding, technology, and enterprise, lifting our province out of poverty and improve the development trajectory as it addresses food security, raises income, and spur demand for other goods and services over time. We are pleased to learn that from the MEC that the environmental impact assessment process for all agri-hubs will continue during the next financial year, and that there is a funding that has been set aside for infrastructure development. We were excited to hear that the agriculture hubs will not be centralized, but rather spread across the provincial district, specializing in different aspects of so that all our people of KwaZulu-Natal do benefit. We must say that we believe that agri-hubs will be a solution to access the markets for farmers at various levels. Therefore, it is recommended that the department should work in partnership with tertiary institutions to ensure notable impact. Honorable Chairperson, ANC-led government take matters of empowerment of youth, women, and people with disability very serious. In line with this, we want to welcome the programs that the department has been running through ADA, and also the pronouncement made by the MEC on the allocation that has been set aside to support vulnerable groups during the 2022-2023 financial year. We must concede that the program has not been without challenges. The decrease in the 2021-2022 adjusted appropriation due to slow implementation of projects was noted with concern. Again, the significant cuts which were to be implemented for agri-hubs, mega nurseries, and seed banks ending in 2022-2023 financial year was also worrying. Honorable Chairperson, we believe that the Rural Safe Initiative should be strengthened and to avoid unnecessary tension, and the ANC support this budget. Laba-ke abanye-ke abade bekhona kule committee kodwa abakhuluma ngento abazilanda eminyakeni edlule. Funa sibakhumbuze ukuthi sila sikhona ngoba phela bathi befika obaba bomkhulu babo bathatha lelizwe lethu. Sasingekho benza umhlangano ngo-1902 bekhiphela ngaphandle abantu abamnyama. Sasingekho bethatha izwe lethu ngo-1910. Sasingekho ngo-1912 13 bethatha umhlaba wethu. So abangezokhuluma ke basikhumbuze emuva ngoba sibakhumbuze emuva nathi.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Thank you, Honorable Member. On the speakers list, we have got ATM member, Honorable M.E. Pagati, who has apologized. She was supposed to debate for 3 minutes. And ACDP member, Honorable S.E. Mangaile, he has also tendered an apology. He was supposed to debate for 3 minutes. And now we are going to move on back to your DAE for 4 minutes. Yo. Okay.
Thanks, Chair. Okay, EPWP grant. There is a slight decrease of 1.9% when compared to the previous financial year, which, as we know, is due to the department's failure to spend this grant fully. Another concern is that CASP is increased below the inflationary rate in 2022-23 and 23-24 and will only see a proper increase in 24-25. When it comes to the Elima Letsema grant's dismal increases below inflation for the next 2 years, one must wonder where the government really is concerned about food security, when the entire grant's purpose is to unlock the potential of currently unused land and other assets. For example, there are numerous vacant farms in Harding alone which are owned by the government, and government has done absolutely nothing for years to utilize this land and get it working. Rural safety. Isn't it sad that every week we hear of farmers and their families being brutally attacked or murdered? The very people who are trying to sustain us and are being wiped out. What will it take for people to realize this? The Democratic Alliance will continue to advocate for a specialized unit that will deal decisively with crime affecting our rural communities in the province. Farmers and their farm workers must be prioritized. If we do not do this, we will experience food shortages like we've never seen before. Surely this red flag should have our government sitting up and paying attention. Irregular expenditure. Having had sight of the Provincial Treasury report on the condonation of irregular expenditure dated 31 March 2022, it beggars belief that any of our departments are still functional, or are they? When one looks at the department's submissions for irregular expenditure, transgressions totaling 105,333,324 million were recommended for condonation. There's a further 124 million odd not recommended due to outstanding supporting documentation. The sad part is that another submission was made in March this year for condonation to the tune of 224.7 million. Funny how eyebrows were raised in the beginning of my debate when I said that this department is a cash cow. These figures certainly speak for themselves. As for ADA, I'm not sure how this public entity is actually surviving. A submission for condonation was received amounting to 64.5 million. Here's an interesting fact. This is nearly 1/3 of their entire budget for the year. I must echo my leader here. Where my mayor? May I remind the House of what the former MEC for Agriculture and Rural Development, the Honourable Mthembu, had said, and I quote, "One of the major challenges faced by the department are the parasitic networks which have caused major damage within the department. There appear to be visible footprints of a captured department by the parasitic network with strong connections inside the department," close quote. He had even likened the department to a damaged organ which cannot be fixed and in need of a transplant. It seems that this department is captured and are run by untouchables, and until such time as this is dealt with, there is no hope for agriculture and rural development in KZN. Forensic reports. Honourable Chair, we must demand transparency and accountability from this department. To date, the department has failed to release several forensic reports into maladministration, corruption, and procurement irregularities which occurred in this department. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Member. The last speaker to debate today is Honourable S.A. Duma of the ANC. You have got 12 minutes, Honourable Member.
I think it's a bit. Way, Mame, Chairperson. Thank you so much, Honourable Chair, for affording us this opportunity once again this afternoon. It has been a lovely afternoon. Thank you, MEC, for this presentation. I think we are all aware that there are scarcity of resources in any way. We've been drumming this point that this department, Honourable Chairperson Sapet has already indicated, for it to be successful, it must be understood as a scientific field. You can't be successful using the primitive method because you're not going to go far, which is why you are saying that at a commanding height, just ensure that you utilize at a thorough level all the expertise that are there in the process. I was told, Honorable Chairperson, that I must just confine myself on ensuring that we redefine 2 minutes and utilize it thoroughly. And because I've been told by my mentor, I will obey slightly, then I'll proceed. Honorable Chair, we heard Honorable Rabe, she's saying, it means that she's in her infancy stage. She's debating this department for the first time. But at her developmental level, she has an audacity of saying that this department can be defined as a cash cow. Imagine a baby. The only thing she's learning that she is able to say that a cash cow. Why would she say that? It's because she understood very well that this department at the core is being driven by the white males in particular. So if you are talking about a cash cow, our people, communal farmers, produces almost 65% of the stock that you see, but only 30% of that goes towards the market because the market is being driven and hogged by your colleagues. And you know that very well. Let us give you a practical example of why do you say that this is a cash cow. Go to Kokstad. There is Richard Mingay, who was assigned to MEC to be part of the consultant on the Makoba farm. They've milked that the department to a level of being, they just suck the blood. And we are not saying that because he is one of your colleagues. In fact, I don't know whether you are aware, there is one Gary Porret, also from Kokstad, Honorable Rogers knows him. He deposited 200 million in Panama. He's one amongst commercial farmers in the province who's got a lot of stock. And you can't just come here and say that the department is a cash cow. By whom? Because the fertilizer in this province, we take it overseas. Unfortunately, what we have in terms of seed are only produced by your white counterparts. It means that they are still the dominant factors. MEC, what you must do, you must just understand that you are addressing the imbalance of the past. Because I see as well in your presentation, I don't think you are taking into cognizance that even what you bought for emerging farmers in terms of mechanization, it has been taken off by these floods. How are you going to ensure? Because so MEC, through you, Chairperson, lezi mbewu nokulima nento ingasenzeka ibe late njengoba kuzoba khona iwinter nje ezothatha almost 100 days asinalutho ukudla inkomo zabantu labakithi abezobe zikudla le inkukhu ezihambile uma ningazibuyisa emva ka 5 months from now onwards lo muntu will already be taken off the market. Those are the factors that we must do, and unfortunately if we are going to wait for us to appropriate the budget and not act as if we are still in a COVID mode and act as a disaster concept, we're not going to make change. Those are the issues that you must take into cognizance. On the issue of farmer support, Honorable Chairperson, the objective of farmer support program is enable and support transformation of the agriculture sector to actively contribute to economic growth, inclusion, equality, and the creation of decent work. Farmer support also aims at increasing food production through producer support and development initiatives like food security programs and producer support service. We had Honorable Mpaipeli, and I feel bad for Honorable Mpaipeli. At a glance, in fact, she debated Honorable MEC because we were here earlier on debating public works. She was sober, characterized with someone who's part and parcel of the portfolio committee. Later on, unfortunately, she's not part of this portfolio committee. Who sits in this portfolio committee is Honorable Mtetwa. I last saw Honorable Mtetwa in 2021. So he has not participated in this portfolio committee. So he himself does not understand the core component of what should be done. Unfortunately, Honorable Mpaipeli, I don't know whether, I doubt that she wrote that bill because it was uncouth, it was even uncharacteristic of her. The AFF was given a chance in National Assembly, Honorable Chairperson, to vote for the issue of land, because you might even think that EFF, Honorable Zwide this morning mentioned something about that red, because For us, it's a distortion even to be taking that garment. EFF is trying to be leaning towards the leftist organization, yet at the core, it's just a neoliberal organization. It's a system, in fact. So they are just proxies, whether you say Julius Malema and his proxies and all those things, we know that they don't understand anything. So when we are serious about the issue of land, just understand we've got 3 spheres of government. If province does not have that jurisdiction, you are barking at a wrong door, unfortunately. Or whoever wrote that thing for you does not understand even the roles and the function. Please just go back to grade R, understand the dynamics of governance. Let's proceed, Honorable Chairperson. Over the past 3 years, the department has made remarkable achievement improving food security in the province. Households supported with food security initiatives were 23,880 in 1920. Financial year 21,000 in financial year of 2021, and a further 60,000 to 70,000 vulnerable households stand to benefit from the department's initiative over the MTF period. Judging from this commendable performance over the past 3 years, this number of hectares for food production through the department multi-planting season program have been increased over the past 3 years. The department planted 20,988 in year 2019-20, planted 22,000 hectares in 2021, and planted 23,000 hectares in 21-22. In this financial year, the department has a target of 28,000 hectares. In fact, Chair, we must mention that this department at the level of executive, we must comment that is led by a capable woman in the form of Honorable Sithole Moloi. We must just highlight that. At a level of portfolio committee, we have our guru, Honorable Sbidla Sapeta, who's very driven. She's driving a tight ship. And almost in each and every portfolio, you will understand her acumen. We are glad on one component that the MEC is with us on the issue of us taking an oversight role without fear or favor. That's what we must also commend the MEC for, because we do from time to time differ. On the issue of Intingwe, for instance, we support you holistic, Honorable MEC, that something should be done and be done urgently, because it is where we are going to create employment. Ungazivumi ke ngisho izimo ezimbi zababi uma sebefuna ukufaka endaweni ezingekho right ubuyele kuthina siyilungisa into yakhona. On producer support services, Honorable Chairperson, 2021-22, the department established 90 agricultural infrastructure, which is an increase of 18% from 62 agricultural infrastructure that was established in 2021. The department has a target of 82 new infrastructure for the financial year. Agricultural infrastructure development is crucial for ensuring a thriving sector, hence the deliberate focus of this government in increasing investment of infrastructure. We must also highlight, Chair, on the issue of market access. Though we are in the 28 years of our democracy, the structural composition of agricultural modes of production remained untransformed because of the rubbers of this world, and continue to be disproportionately and still largely benefit minority groups. And you must not feel and sleep well today because of that. Nothing has changed in terms of you contributing positively, but only government, and only at the correct proper time that commercial farmers who are white in particular must assist the government. The status quo deplorable perpetuate inequality and underdevelopment of the historical disadvantaged individuals, particularly in rural and township areas. So the issue of monopolies and oligopolies must come closer to assist this process. Historical disadvantaged farmers continue to find it difficult to access available formal market to the produce. We wouldn't do justice if we do not applaud the KZN government for approving Operation Vula program. Honorable MEC, we applauded, I think, when you spoke about the issue of RASET. Just ensure that that bond, it must be given to the proper beneficiaries. Our people on communal farmers, our people who are emerging as the farmers. That's the only thing that is going to assist. I want to quickly go, because of time, Chair, on the issue of research. Research conducted within the province of KwaZulu-Natal by the Department of Agriculture serves to address agriculture constraint and problem, as well as to present new information and technology. The state seeks to discover solutions that will increase productive and production in livestock and improve crops yields, reduce losses due to disease and insects, develop more efficient equipment, and increase overall food quality. Despite the effects of climate change As part of promoting access to information, the Department of Research findings are made available amongst through publications, the issue of papers, scientific papers, and all those things. We want to drive this point, Honorable Chairperson, MEC. If ungase nihlale phansi iKwaZulu-Natal inawo almost all the resources ukuthi sizikhiphele thina ama-fertilizers e-SHOD. Sinayo i-urea, sinayo i-nitrogen. Angi-understand ukuthi yini enza silinde i-Colorado, silinde-ke i-America in particular, okuyiyona econtroller i-maize belt of the world, ukuthi uma inenkinga ye-fertilizer sotshala late as because of that. Let us ensure that lama graduate about specialize in agriculture, please utilize their strength, utilize technology. Don't be even apologetic to create a hub. I-create i-department khona kuzoba lula. In fact, leli phuzu libalulekile nakhona ngoba sikwazi ungalisho sihlala ukuthi if ama-sales yard singawakhi for abantu bakithi ngeke bakwazi ukuhweba. Ama-winners abazohlala efika late ey'ndaleni angakwazi ukuthengiswa. Isivuno ngaba amaklabishi ngaba amazambane abantu bakithi bohlele belinda imarket ukuthi ingakwazi ukusenza. So i-research yaka-department fanele isilekelele ukuthi yazi ukuthi it is a time for the majority ukuthi bangene into the mainstream. We hope i-agri-hub iyolekelela nakhona ukuthi wonke umkhiqizo oyokhiqizwa abantu bakithi ungathathwa as second and third grade, kodwa kube wona first grade unikezwe imali yawo ngoba ziningi kakhulu into ezinyukile. Abantu bakithi-ke into yempuphu amafutha bazothola kunzima ukwenza. Siyabonga kakhulu, siyayisupport i-budget. Thank you so much, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Duma. Let me take this opportunity and call upon the political head of the department, MEC for Agriculture and Rural Development, to respond to the Agriculture and Rural Development debate. Honorable B.N. Sithole Moloi, over to you. You have got 15 minutes.
Angibonge sihlalo kakhulu. Ngithanda ukubonga wonke amalunga e-portfolio committee for the questions and also for the contribution. I-agriculture yindawo ebalulekile. We all agree on that one. I think akungethusi ukuba kube khona amazwi ahlabayo uma kukhona i-progress from the side of the African people. Some people get agitated because they see that there is a movement. Manje-ke bengithe ngizoyisho ngelinye ulimi sengithi angishaye ngesingisi nje kahle polite. Khona ulimi lokuzolusebenzisa ukuthi le mpi ayipheli iyaqhubeka. Ma khona umnyakazo wenzekayo on the side of the African people, other people feel agitated and say ukuthi angeke nilunge, and sizolunga, we are going to make it, and we are going to ensure that the shift are seen and are actually making our people to be proud that they are African people in the African land and they are benefiting out of the land of their forefathers. Sifuna ukwenza nje lokho singachimi. Ngibonge sihlalo we-committee Honorable Speaker Saphethe. Certainly, Honorable Saphethe, sizoyenza yonke imizamo yokuqinisekisa ukuthi we give a proper strategy and mitigation plan ukusiza labo bantu aba-affectekile ama-flood. We have started and there are amounts that we have pronounced, but also we said whilst the national has not given any money because sekhona le msindo yokuthi kuzodliwa imali, ayikho imali esayinikiwe, sisaqoqa ulwazi. So-ke ukudla nokungadli does not fit and feature in this at this time. Asikanikwa mali, sisaqoqa information, sisa-analyzer, sisa-quantifier, and until we have done that and the national has given something, we can't be talking about eating and not eating, and pausing and not pausing, because there's nothing to pause for, because there is no money that has been given to us at this point in time. Whatever we are doing, we are going to deal with it utilizing our internal resources that we have. And ngifuna ukusho ukuthi abaningi abalimi bathintekile ngenxa yokuthi izivuno zabo kusukela ngoDisemba ziwashekile and umhlabathi waluza ama-nutrients. So we are trying by all means ukuthi sivuselele lokho, utilizing the internal resources and utilizing our seeds as we have addressed this house, saying that we are developing our own seeds and seedlings through our research centers, and we have presented here with how much we have started and how much we have given out. We are going to utilize that also to assist our farmers. Sizoba sizafuna ukuthi bakulekelele ukuthi-ke sifisa ukusho ukuthi enye into esingazange siyibike la esiyenzayo ukuba siqinisekise ukuthi nathi siba ne-yellow plant, because ama-farmers ethu alimalelwe izindlela, access to the market and even access for their inputs to be given to to be brought to their farms. Abakwazi ukuthi bafinyelele ngenxa yomgaqo ehlukene phakathi, and we have visited a number of them. It's so painful to see a farmer cannot actually access any goods that are coming out as a production, and also goods that are supposed to come in to do umsebenzi wakhe njengomlimi. Lokho ke kusenza kuba sihlongoza ukuthi ke siyabheka lapha eminyangweni ukuthi akukho yini esingakuthola sithenge nathi eyethi plant uku-assista, ngoba siyazi ukuthi u-DOT noma wenza lo msebenzi kodwa uzowenza thina sigcine ngasemuva ngoba bazobe benga-understand i-impact also ne-agents ye-agricultural sector in relation to access to the market and access to those farms. Sinalolo hlelo ke sizoluthula kwikomiti ukuthi sagcina senze njani ngoba sibonile ukuthi kunesidingo esikhulu on that side. I-transfer yama-college sizoyiletha i-report, but I want to assure the chairperson and also the committee members and also the House that I have spoken with the Minister Waga Higher Education. We are engagement. That's why they halted this year. They're supposed to have taken the colleges this year. And I said to him, you can't until we are clear, because we have seen some of the colleges being collapsed because they were moved from one space to another, and that has made them collapse. We can't afford to lose these colleges because we have seen the impact that they are making in the young lives of our province, and also the contribution that they are making when we train our own people that are having projects and we are supporting. We are training them through these colleges, and we cannot afford to lose them. So ngifuna ukuthi ngikusho ke lokuthi ke ezinye zezinto ke ezibangela ukuba ingamuvi, and I'm meeting him next week, the minister, so that we talk further on this matter to understand. But in his understanding, it was saying that he wanted also to lift the accreditation of the colleges to be in NQF, because at the moment they are not in NQF level, so they can't be accredited by any university or any higher learning institution further than just having this certificate that we are providing them. So I did understand that, but I said that's not the only thing that we want to discuss. We must go beyond that so that we don't see this going back. Ngama reports ke onke lawa sihlalo wacelayo, certainly, as we have always complied, we'll do so and deal with the matters. And I think asibonge kakhulu ngakho konke sihlalo is-support and everything, and also nokuthi ni support i-APP yethu kanye ne-budget as a committee. Ngibonge kakhulu kumhlonishwa uFraser. Yes, ama-systems akhona ayalekelela. We see the movement, and I'm certain ukuthi as members niyabona umahluko. Ne-financial management yethu isi-improvile from what it used to be. Ofuna ukuqala ke ngo-2000, that is her problem and his problem, or their problem. But Tina, what we know is that I'm in the 6th administration, and this is what is happening. We have turned the tide around, and we have moved from what it used to be a disastrous financial management, and we are now reporting the positive. And besifuna ukusho nje sichaza ukuthi nemali ezekuthiwa fruitless expenditure no irregular, we have moved from what it used to be, and at the moment we're sitting at 16 million. Not the amount that Honorable Rabi was saying. We are coming far from that, including issue of under expenditure. We're coming far, and you can see that there is a huge movement. If we can say and stand here say under expenditure is over less than 1 million, it means that a lot has been done to try and do that. All our internal controls has been put in place and are being monitored and evaluated all the time. And we certainly that we are going to make this province proud that this department is now taking its shape. Angibonge kumhlonishwa uGumede, ngizwile mhlonishwa, ngiyafisa ukwazisa ukuthi le ndlu kanye nabahlonishwa bonke ukuthi udaba lasemkhanya kude lase Othokothi nasesikemelele akusiyo ukuthi yimvula amaflat. What has happened ukuthi idamu ligcwalile, then they open idamu abaka water and sanitation. What they did, lawo manzi ahambile ayongena emasimini abantu bakithi, and i-Department of Agriculture led by district director immediately intervened, and they went there and assessed, and they are trying to meet and deal with that that part. We are going to assist them with the seeds and also with the fertilizer so that they revive whatever has left. And also we have said that we are going to mitigate in the future that when that has to happen, first these people have to be alert, and also a further mitigation strategy must be employed in that area, because iyenzeka ifana nasemnambiti la ufika khona ade kungenalutho ilanga libalele kuthiwa seliyamuka idolobha. Those are the kind of situation that we find where we are trying to manage the water issues. Ngiyafisa futhi ukusho ukuthi udaba lokuwehliswa kwemali ye-EPWP has a lot to do also with the issues that national, there are some measures awenzayo. He takes the under money and put it for that, so that it improve equality yethu yakwa agriculture. Siyabonga kakhulu ke ngunomnyama ukuthi usilekelele kulokho. Siyazi sibongile futhi nanokuthi usupporte umsebenzi. Impela mncane u2 billion, ngcono sesikhuluma ngo2 billion, besikhuluma ngo1 point something billion. Now we are, at least we have come to 2 billion. Nakhona u2 billion is nothing taking to the work that is supposed to be done by agriculture. Kuningi kakhulu ama program that we want to advance, that is going to make abantu bakithi ukuthi babe namathuba omsebenzi, to make abantu bakithi baphume kwi-poverty, and also to deal with the issue of inequalities that we have seen in this sector. Asibonge ke ayisengimphenduleke udadewethu lapha Honorable Urabe. Ngikuphendulile ngasho ukuthi le mpilo eyomnyakazo siyanyakaza ke. I want also to assure you that on One Home, One Garden, we have not failed. The only thing that has made us to be seen to have dealt with that minimally is because of the rains that have washed away the food that were there in them. We have managed ukuthi senze from 2019 to this far, we have assisted 60,000 households on One Home, One Garden, because we are able now to account for those assistance. Sifuna ukuthi sikwaziseke siphendule kanjalo kulokho. Asibonge kuNyambose ngo-input yakhe kakhulu, siyabonga futhi siqinisekile ukuthi into ye-employment of animal health care officers izoqhubeka throughout the province, and actually we targeted to employ about 1,100 and odd of animal health officers that are going to assist our deep tanks and also assist with the knowledge and education in relation to the livestock and how to manage it and put them in a healthy situation. I think usihlalo uyihlabe esikhongosini utheke sizofana sikhulume no-national to deal with into ye-quarantine on the side of foot and mouth disease. Sizokwenza njalo ke ngicabanga ukuthi ke noNyambose ukhulume along those lines. Impi ayipheli, izophela ke impi ayipheli because land, we are not allocating land, and it's not part of umsebenzi wethu njenganale department ka-agriculture and rural development in the province. That is still dealt with by the national, and also ke rural development namanye ama-aspect akhona are reported direct to national. We wish ukuthi ke sisho ukuthi ke sizwile. Okunye ke into yama-placement of unemployed graduates, we want to say ukuthi noma ningayibukela phansi, the 340 inamba enkulu kabi yokusiza every year, and siyafuna ukusho ukuthi abanye baya-overlappa. Sithola kade sithe u-340 Honorable Chair, uthola ukuthi khona abanye sebephuma vele sesiya-eda mhlawumbe si-ede omunye u-40. By that financial year mhlawumbe sisiza abantu abalako-400 and odd. Siyafuna ukuthi-ke sisho ukuthi abanye babo they go out and become independent and bazisebenzele endaweni lapho abasuke be-identifyile, then i-department iba-supporte ngama-implements also as laba sisuke sisupporta abanye abantu. Siyafuna kukusho-ke lokho ukuthi-ke silapho-ke itiye lasentingo ngiyalazi liyathandwa, but ngifuna ukusho ukuthi hayi leyo-ke leyo mpike leyo ayizuphela, because until we win it, because we want to win that fight. I'm telling the House that because the committee agrees with me, because on their visit they could see the potential of employing people around that area and also contributing to rural economic development in that particular area. And I see imigaqo yasenkandla iyo improve, abantu yamabhizinesi asenkandla ayo improve, i-transportation nama-logistics asenkandla ayo improve, and people of Nkandla will feel better because of the improvement on intingo. Siyazi ukuthi ibulawe yini, and ke sibhizi ngalokho ukukulungisa, and hence ke siyathemba ukuthi ke i-support esiyitholayo kunina izosilekelela to deal with that. Honorable Rashbans, we thank you and also agree with you that we'll deal with some of the matters when we have visited some of the farms that we have identified in Utongati and in Ndwedwe and around the area. Siyabonga ke sizodila nodaba le-rural economic development with uCocta as you have highlighted, and also issue of biosecurity. Biofuel, we're going also to embark on that with sugarcane growers. We are also intending of supporting the people that want to build a mill in Makatini to assist the small scale farm growers, cane growers there, because they said it's take a long time and also they pay a lot of money to take their produce to the mills nearby. Honorable Zuma siyabonga kakhulu Chief Whip for the support and also for the issues that you have raised, and also issue yama placement, issue seed multiplication, and also issue yama agri hubs. And we are committed, as we are getting support from the committee, that we are not going to fail the committee, and also we are not going to fail the legislature, and also not to fail abantu bakwaZulu-Natal. Sizimisele ke ukuba sikulungise konke lokhu kwenzeke ukuba siqhubekele phambili. Ngicabanga ukuthi ke imibuzo eminingi siyiphendulile. Omjindi hayi sisamile sizowalungisa, and the infrastructure that was built there was not built by us but was built by the then government. So okonye konakele ke sinokulungisa ke nikhumbuzane lapha ekomitini ukuthi impi yalaba abanye nalaba abanye iyoziphela emzukwane, abanye bathatha over economy bese bekwazi ukuba nezwe elingcono kunabanye. Siyabonga kakhulu ke ngawo wonke ama-comment that has been made by members. We really appreciate. We still commit as the Department yakwa Agriculture and Rural Development that we'll always cooperate when there's the committee asks us and the House asks us to do so. We'll come back and account for all the funding that we have been allocated, and we are going to ensure that with the monitoring and evaluation system that we have put in place, I'm sitting with the bulk of reports for those people that we are directly funding, and all those project has been monitored and evaluated. We are going to give a report on what actually has happened, and are they existing as the money cow. We are not a money cow. It seems to be a donkey without a money, but carrying a load that is going to take it to the other direction. I want to thank you, all of you, for the contribution and everything, and also say, siyabonga nibe ne weekend end.
Thank you, and thank you, Honorable MEC. Indeed, it has been a good debate, Honorable MEC. Honorable members, I wish to thank all of you for your cooperation and wish to draw your attention to the votes that will be deliberated on next week, Tuesday, the 10th of May, 2022 at 9. The votes are as follows. Sports and Recreation, Arts and Culture, vote 10 at venue A, which is Chamber, and Cocta vote 11 at venue B, which is Ingcoce Caucus Room. At 1, proceedings will resume, wherein Health vote 7 at venue A, which is Chamber, and Community Safety and Liaison vote 9, which is Ingcoce Caucus Room. Upon concluding of the votes as outlined above, members will further be requested to continue with the business of the legislature, wherein the House is expected to process Division of Revenue Bill, B06-2022. The details of connecting for this purpose will be shared with members by 2 on Tuesday. Once more, I wish to take this opportunity to thank all the honorable members and our guests, and I wish everyone a safe journey back home and a restful weekend. We have come to an end of the debate on vote 3 and also the end of the business day. I thank you. The House adjourned.